Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is the 5 things you did not know about paralegals. Paralegals do a lot of heavy lifting. When I talk about heavy lifting, I'm referring to drafting documents, which I'll explain in a separate video, conducting legal research, organizing evidence, and managing case files. For example, when I was a legal assistant for an attorney, he once asked me to find a person's phone number so he could contact them. While it wasn't considered legal research, it was related to a will, and we needed to reach out to relatives. We almost had no information on this individual, and what I mean by that is that he was not in the case file. The attorney had called him once, and that was several years ago, and we only had a name. And I had to track him down using whatever resources I could find. It is important to understand that most of the time your work will go unrecognized in front of clients. Clients often assume that the attorneys are doing all the work, even though you're doing a significant part of it behind the scenes. Don't expect the praise from an attorney. Paralegals need emotional resilience. What do I mean by emotional resilience? Emotional resilience is the ability to recover from situations that are stressful, challenging, or even traumatic. The kind of law you work in, whether it's civil, criminal, family, or probate, can greatly affect the emotional situations you'll face. For example, I once worked on a slander case, which is a civil matter, while serving as a minute clerk in court. During the trial, a young woman testified that a man against whom she had a restraining order that was previously filed had sexually assaulted her. That was the hardest day I've ever had in court, and I had to sit there and listen to the entire testimony. My point is, as a paralegal, you may deal with murder cases, intense family disputes, conflicts over wills, and yes, those can get heated, or deeply emotional cases like the one I just described. These situations can take a toll on you emotionally. That is why it is so important to find something that helps you calm down and decompress. For me, it was praying, and after work I would go for a run. It made me feel like I was finally breathing air again. Find something that works for you, whether it's exercising, meditating, journaling, or simply talking to someone. There will be stressful days in the office. Don't get caught up in the stress the attorneys might be feeling. Focus on what you need to do and trust that you'll be just fine. And remember that the office relies on you. Organization is key. And this is very, very important. Always try to clean up your desk at the end of the day, because that's what you'll walk into in the morning. Before I became a legal secretary, I worked as a general secretary for the same law firm. I remember the paralegal who was there before me always had a messy desk, which made it harder for him to find what he needed when he needed it. An organized desk saves time and helps you work more efficiently. The same applies to your computer. Keep it organized. Remember, this is a work computer, not a personal one. If someone needs to use your login, you don't want to be embarrassed by a cluttered desktop or disorganized files. My law firm didn't use Clio or any sophisticated legal software. They used a basic file system. Were things really hard to find sometimes? Yes, incredibly hard. The transition from paper-based filing system to a digital one caused a lot of documents to be misplaced, making it difficult for me to find information about old clients, even with the old paper files still stored in the basement. You have to make sure you are organized. Attorneys may have cases files scattered all over the floor. I've literally had to step over them. That is their system. Leave it alone. But remember, they will always expect a higher level of organization from you. When I was hired as a secretary at this law firm, the attorney who interviewed me told me, "Your generation is known for being lazy." Prove them wrong with that statement. Giving legal advice can ruin your career. What I will say about this is that it can lead to a lot of trouble. Practice not saying anything to family members. That's often the most challenging part, is because they know that you're going to paralegal school, but they don't really know that you can't say anything. You might know more than an attorney in certain situations, but you don't have the license to give legal advice, and that's important to remember. I know how difficult that can be. I faced the same challenge while working as a minute clerk at the courthouse, where even attorneys would ask me legal questions, and yes, attorneys will ask minute clerks legal questions. Despite knowing the answers, I had to remind myself that it wasn't my place to respond. Start practicing it now so it does not hurt you in the future. No more than attorneys. I made this mistake when I started out as a legal assistant. In school, I was taught about petitions, interrogatories, formatting, and similar concepts. However, doing something once in a classroom does not prepare you to be a great paralegal in the real world. If you are planning to work in civil litigation, start reviewing civil procedure and relevant statutes now. Learn about the different forms commonly used, many of which aren't covered in school. For example, I didn't learn about TROs, which are temporary restraining orders, in my classes, and I had a lot of those in court, and I had to research what exactly those were. I spent months not knowing what the attorneys or other legal assistants were referring to, and that's not a good position to be in. I never want to be in that situation again, and neither should you. If you don't understand something, look it up, dig deeper. For me, I love contracts, but I had to make a huge effort to truly understand the different types of contracts and how they function. Do not just rely on what you learn in school. Take the initiative and do your own research. One last piece of advice. This may be something your professor has already told you, but it's worth repeating. Get into something legal, whether it's a courthouse or a law firm, as soon as you can. It will help you tremendously to know what the legal process is and what the documents contain. And here's another tip. If you need a template for a petition or any other legal document, find a case number that you trust and use it as a reference. It will save you time and give you a strong foundation for your own drafting work. And that is all I have today. Please subscribe and hit the notification button if you really, really like this video. And I will see you guys this week again.